What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is August 11th of 2017. So let's do a real quick weekly recap on the price action in cryptocurrencies. And as always, we're going to start off with the big dog, Bitcoin. Folks, there's going to be a continuous theme we're going to talk about in this recap. This is a very special week. We have seen absolute optimism in cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin is no exception. Starting off with Bitcoin, we can see that we've maintained practically a straight line of just upticking in price action, going to new highs. Think back a few weeks ago, folks. We were in a period of flooding. Everyone was saying that it was the end all for Bitcoin, that this was the end game. There was no coming back, and that we were going to go to new lows for the 52-week, and there was no retesting those highs. Bitcoin had seen its highs and its rush, and it would never touch there again. The fork was going to be the destruction. Bitcoin Cash was going to devalue and degrade the name of Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin Cash is sitting around somewhere in the, I would say somewhere around the $300 range, and Bitcoin is touching new highs. It was practically free money. And not only that, if you held your Bitcoin, you're continuing to new highs. You didn't even need to put your money in altcoins, folks. We have seen absolute optimism in Bitcoin. This is not FOMO, folks. This isn't people going, oh God, I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on Bitcoin. No, it's people realizing that mining is becoming more and more expensive and the demand is still picking up. So people are going to go to the closest alternative and they're just going to go out and pay the market price and buy it. They're going to pay that ask. They're getting in because they're eager and they realize that this is a quite fair valuation. This is quite the fair valuation for something that's so limited and so in demand. Bitcoin is going to continue to climb through this year, folks. There's no doubt about it. Now, there's surely going to be a pullback. Maybe we'll get a pullback down to this level to test support at 3,000. And that would be a pretty decent pullback, but I honestly don't think we're going to see it. I think we're going to maybe see, at worst, a pullback to 3,300 now. There's so much price strength confirmation. We've completely, fallen away from the moving averages and just ascended to new highs. And I think that we're going to try and test 4,000 in the next week or so. So the volume is there to back it up. The price action is there to show the confidence. Bitcoin is a leader right now, folks. Stop with the flooding. It's not worth it. I said it when we were down here that even though I wasn't exactly confident at buying at these levels, when we got up with this candle, it's over. It wasn't a dead cat bounce. It was a confirmation that people are optimistic, the flooding was over, and we're ready to test new highs. Speaking of new highs, folks, cryptocurrencies in general are also taking the lead with Bitcoin. We have seen, before we look down the list of some of these winners, we've tested new highs in cryptocurrencies. I'll take it here to the 1 year to make it a little more clear. The flooding's over, folks. We're testing new highs, and we're looking to go to a much higher valuation for overall cryptocurrencies. And I think that the altcoins are going to continue, as always, to lead. As Bitcoin remains at a pretty decent dominance level in the market, it's definitely maintaining its stake in these run-ups. But the altcoin scene, as well, has come back to its highs, and I think it's going to start testing even higher levels. I mean, yeah, we're right up back to where we were, and I think there's still a lot of cheap altcoins out there, and I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about some trending ones and some that we've actually printed some good money on. So before that, let's go ahead and look down some of the winners. There's been the main kind of trend we're seeing, folks, is that the ICOs that came out back in June and July that have been kind of sold off after their ICO release, or the ICO highs, they've been kind of abandoned. And now they're getting all this love back into the price action. Prices are soaring 50, 80, 100, 200% within a matter of a day. That is not something you normally see, folks. It's showing you that not only is Bitcoin confidence coming into the market, money is flowing back into the altcoins. And a lot of new names in the ICO scene. Some of those being Pillar, 10x, almost at $500 million in valuation. This is just unbelievable. Numeraire, up 33%. Mysterium, which we made a trade on, up 31% today, folks. This is not something you normally see. Economy up 27%. Omise Go, something that I was technically not bearish on, but was calling for a pullback. I got completely blown the fuck out on this one. It's almost at $1 billion in valuation. I mean, there's no denying it. The confidence is coming into this market. Civic almost at $250 million in valuation. I just covered this a few weeks ago and told you I was optimistic on it. We're up 22% today. Status, which I just did a video on, almost at well, actually over a quarter of $1 billion. There's a lot of new leaders in this market, folks, and it's really starting to show that the ICO scene is getting some optimism in it. So that being said, I think that's what's going to carry this to new highs. I think we're going to continue to see that for another day or so, and then we're going to see some much needed pullback. So that all being said, I'm here to cover a lot of what you guys want to hear on this recap, and I know you all are waiting for my coverage on NEO. So a lot of you were curious about what I did with NEO and how a lot of you were kind of curious as to why I eventually pulled out and I took my holdings in NEO. As you all can see, NEO had a fantastic run up. There was a lot of it that I'll be honest that I missed. I took the majority of my holdings at a 100% return. So I had been holding generally around this area and took out the majority of my funds around the 500,000 Satoshi level, making a 100% return within a matter of about 2 weeks. Really awesome trade. And NEO was a solid bet. I had no doubt that it was going to run up going into the update. That being said, I did not expect it to be this much. And I will tell you all, folks, I'm going to show you all my strategy and approach to how I'm going to get back into NEO. For now, I'm not touching NEO because the chart is not looking very bearish. Or sorry, it's not looking very bullish. It's looking quite bearish in the sense of the short term. Now, I'm still extremely optimistic on NEO. And if you're holding it and you don't want to trade it and you're not wanting to take any trading advice and risk anything and you just want to hold it, the only thing you should be looking to do here is add on dips, okay? I'm just letting you all know why I sold. It's a little overextended right now, folks. And what I think you could see is a pullback. As much as it might seem like a pretty stellar pullback, I think the worst case scenario is you're going to see it get pulled back to this level, which was previous resistance. You can see we kind of tossed up around here. I think we're going to come down and get support here, and we're going to see NEO rush back up to new highs and new optimism. So I'm really optimistic on NEO, but I'm going to wait for a pullback. We can see here on the hourly that this looks like it needs to pull back a little bit. And I think if we break below these lows, unless we find support here and continue to run up, I'm thinking that we're going to see some more pullback. But that being said, I'm still stuck on the idea that this is going to be China's Ethereum, folks. And if you can get this at a nice dip, under $30 per NEO, I think that is a steal. I think that you should start adding as you go down every about 50,000 or 100 Satoshis. Add to your position a little bit. Build that confidence into it. I think NEO is going to be a winner in the long term. So don't take it as me being bearish. I love NEO. And I think that, I watched Box Mining's video with when he interviewed the founder of NEO, and it was just such a cool video to see him sit down, just kind of chat and talk about NEO, where it's going, what the optimism is around it, and to see that they're getting media coverage in Forbes, and really seeing people, in general starting to adopt NEO. So I think that there's so much optimism with it. I think that we're just getting started, and I can't wait to see what they've got in the pipeline for NEO. So moving on from that, another winner we had today, folks, was Mysterium. Mysterium has been something that I've been optimistic on for quite some time. And I was watching it for this past week, and I kept on telling people in my chat group that something's going to happen to this, okay? Like, Mysterium has got to move. And it did today, folks. And it had an explosive run-up after a large pool of volume came in. I started noticing it here on the hourly, but the real volume came in here. And it's not really even that much. It's just 53 Bitcoin. But to come in that kind of fashion with something that has such low volume shows that this might be another one of those abandoned ICOs that runs up. It is my biggest watch list item, and I'm going to back it up by saying that I've got my money in it. I've got a decent portion of Mysterium in my portfolio. We can see here on the daily, folks, this has got a ways to go to reach its ICO release highs. I think it can. I think we've seen it with Civic. We've seen it with 10x. We've seen it with Omise Go. We've seen it with so many names. Why can't Mysterium do it? I don't think there's any doubt in it, folks. I love Mysterium. It's one of my favorite ICOs. They've got the team and the technology, and the price action is looking tremendous. I would really like to see this day close up to new highs, and if it does that, I think that you could see this double over the next week, in my opinion. Now, of course, you got to do your own research and definitely diversify, but it's a big position in my portfolio for a small cap, and I think this could really run up. So That being said, there's a lot of optimism in this market, folks. I think that we're going to have no struggle testing up to a new valuation of around 140 to 150 billion over the next few weeks as confidence continues to rush in. And who knows where this is going? I'm telling you all, stay optimistic on this. That being said, make sure to look for common pullbacks and dips in the market. And if you can find some of the coins that you're optimistic on dips, add to them. And look at this in the long term. I think we've got a decent amount to run for this next bull run. And I think that we're going to see a ton of money and big institutional money as well come into cryptocurrencies as we see people from Wall Street firms like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs kicking out their six-figure salaries and coming to the world of cryptocurrencies and creating ICOs. This is a really cool time in cryptocurrencies. And if you're here, folks, you're here at the right time. So that all being said, thank you all so much for watching the video. If you guys got any opinions on the market or a certain coin that you're interested in, leave it down in the comments below. But until then, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.